Thanks for giving me the opportunity to give the talk. And I was here 1983, so didn't have a chance to learn cyber-physical system. But from what I learned today is the exchange, intersection, or transformation from one world to another, or the physical to the digital. So today I'd like to share with you some of my experience from academic world to the startup world, and how to develop the infrastructure to support and also the transformation between those two worlds. And actually, a lot of the things that I'm able to do had grassroots seeds planted when I was a student here. So I like to pay tribute to others. Okay, so here is a little bit of myself. I grew up in the rural area of China. Okay, didn't see a car when I was 12, until I was 12 years old. Now we are talking about autonomous driving. So in the last 30-some years, how much has progressed. And then I went to Changsha for 1 year, and CMU for my undergraduate, and then come back to Berkeley for my 6 years. Okay. And after a short stay at MIT, New York, NYU, I joined HKUST and have been there since then. And of course, just recollect, Changsha was a turning point for me. CMU, my first experience to formal education, and because of the background, I didn't take a full benefits of it. Berkeley is really the place, okay, that I began to learn how to learn things, and continue that since then. And a few minutes to reflect because, being here for over 30 years. So, I can probably say a few words what worked particularly well for me, and what are the areas, if I had another opportunity, I could do better. So I think is boy here, or Stephen was here, okay. So I listened, I think when I first come to Berkeley, I went to a seminar given by Stephen Boyd on Volterra series. And I thought I was very well educated in mathematics while as an undergraduate student at CMU, but I couldn't understand a single word of what he said. And today I still don't understand much, but probably confused at a slightly higher level. So then I went to Shankar, what am I going to do? He said, go to take Math 104. Okay, so that is really the beginning of my education. I took, because Shankar was teaching Math 221A, had lots of, math flavor. And then Kobayashi, and actually Math 104 I found it to be the most beneficial for me, even when I come into the business community, and the 202 remember Kobayashi, and the 202B on Chernoff, right? And then I think Isidori was here for the geometric control seminar series. And Andy and I, we worked on the AB invariant, CA invariant subspaces. So we began to take some geometry. The first 140, differential topology by Hirsch, and the Math 214, Xiang Wuyi, Marston, and Wu Hongxi, Smell, and the Chen was very influential, even though I didn't take a course from here. He invited us for dinner in his home, and it was a tremendous education experience for us. And I think I would be very grateful to all the control robotics faculty members here at that time. Shankar, Dissot, Chur, Felix, Zadi, Praveen, and Warren, Jingwan, Tomizuka, Fearing, Kenny, and all those. So I think we interacted, learned a lot, from various interaction, and I took a ME minor. Later days, I do lots of mechanical work. And I think, I learned lots of things by, jogging together with Shankar in Strawberry Canyon Run. He explained all this stuff due to Roger Brackett. And also, David Montana's PhD thesis. I think we had lots of discussion. And later on, I took all my students to the mountains, okay, and we do discussions. And once I even tried to prove a little llama in Mount Everest. And I thought I could call that the Everest llama. But my mind simply, does not function at such a high altitude. So that is failed. And I'm also very grateful, to the fellow students. And the first, Shankar said the gang of 4, 3 of them are here. And also, Brad, Andy, Aline, Hao John is here, Richard, Paul. So, in later career, we still just interact like a member of the family. Okay. And of course, I think I, took a lead to run the graduate robotics seminar, and Shankar, was about to start the robotics program, and the ICRA invited Krishna Prasad, Nakamura, and all those guys to Kalkowski to give talks on multi-finger hands, and they also, get confused, especially Krishna Prasad's screw theory seminar. So we all get screwed up. And that was, later on, move us, drive us to study more of geometry. Okay. And of course, if there is any regret, Malik was here, and I didn't take a vision class, but I think if I could sacrifice some of the control courses, by taking courses outside the discipline, would be a lot more effective. Okay, so I just went. That is the place, room 333. And I think I just went back there this morning, took a picture, and so I think I would like to sort of explain through a couple of examples the feedback loop of the thesis research to the textbooks and also courses that we teach, and also to applications and back to thesis, and that sort of feedback loop back and forth. And of course, earlier days studied with my thesis, Richard's thesis, Pin Su, and then we had the book, and we are trying to finish the second edition, but never been able to converge. But we do have convergence on the title of the second edition, which is a geometric introduction to robotics and the manipulation. Okay, we hope that we will be able to finish that. So, one example, of that feedback loop, and, we spend all those, time to learn through using geometric tools to understand the rigid body motion. Those are the tools, and then the research, and then the product design, and then the startups, and the back forth. Okay. So, these are some of the things. If you take Math 214, and it's all there. It took me 20 years to understand and also connect them with some of the real problems. So I will not go through those things in this short period of time. But anyway, and those, all those things you will learn. Okay. Okay, so that is the first application as pioneered by Roger Brackett, and also in the book, The Product of Exponential, and using that formulation to derive beautifully all the consequences, the Jacobian, the inverse kinematics by Brad, optimal workspace design, and also the new formulation of the rigid body motion, dynamics, and use that to formulate the dynamics. The thing I like to say is that, using the geometric tool, you do get much more compact, much deeper intuition into this concept. And your algorithm will be much more efficient than otherwise possible. Okay. And also multi-finger hands, and I think Steve also had a paper. It's a convex optimization problem in space of Riemann manifold, and I had to read some of Steve's book in order to apply those techniques. And this is another set of products that we made use of the tools to design the shoulder joints, to understand the eyeball movement, and that is very important. And they also parallel robot design using those differential geometric tools. And the advanced machine tool for 5-axis machining. Okay, and we really get the formulation for design of those machines in the right perspective. And they also CV joints for automobiles. Nowadays, that we see that left and right hands become human-like robots appear in factories. But how do you model those kind of robots? And how do you, not just for individual cases, try to generalize this to other type of machinery, interaction of many different machines, together to accomplish a complex task. Okay, so that is also an example, and this is a setup that we had to assemble the motors in the DJI drones. Okay, because before all those motors are made by hand, the quality, the cost, everything is just terrible. So we decided to do the manufacturing, assembling using robots. And then we using the 3D sensing algorithm, workspace modeling, offline programming, and also the kinematics of the calibration of the whole thing. Our goal is that we could assemble the drones all by robots, and the drone will fly itself into the boxes for packaging, and perhaps for delivery using drones to your home. Okay, so that is And also workpiece calibration. How do you, in a single formulation, handles workpieces of completely different shapes. Least square in the group, in the homogeneous space, and all those. Okay. So I think then the next phase, once you have the product, then you can formulate or start up companies, okay, and you have a competitive advantage. This is my first startup, Google Tech, and we registered the name 1 month before the other Google. And actually, we designed a motion controller board to implement the Riemann algorithm, okay, for finger optimization, and then we began to build controllers, and those are some of the progress of the company, and those are some of the motion controller embedded and all networked, and also control system for the whole factory, not just for individual machines. Okay. And now we have around 50% of the market share in China, and experienced a very rapid growth. And this is another startup. You can see that all the names of the company, Quotient Kinematics Machine, Google Tech, they have mathematical names. So this is a tribute to the things that we learned, okay, as a graduate student here. And this company, QKM, wants to design and build industrial robots. Okay, and we did a lot of research. People say you are crazy. There are already famous big companies there, ABB, Kuka, Yaskawa, Fanuc. There is no place for industrial robots to emerge. Then we looked at all those conditions under which those companies emerged, and they discovered they are grounded based on applications from automobile industry. Okay, and yet in China there is another industry which we call C3. So the making of your smartphones, computers, and the consumer electronics, IoT products. Okay, And this industry is 4 or 5 times bigger than the automobile industry. The life cycle, instead of 10 years, is only 1 year. So you have basically 2 weeks to set up the production line for assembling of this, not to mention the accuracy, the cost, and all those. So the requirement is completely different. And that is the aim of QKM. And those are so I think, today we talked about the, autonomous driving as a grand challenge problem for cyber-physical system or for robotics. And here is another, I think, equally grand challenge, okay, for robotics. So that is the assembling of C3 products, okay. We use them, but we never thought how those products are being made, okay. It takes millions of people, to do that. And those are all in fact, the future cars will be electrical, will be made just like your smartphones, okay? No longer be like the Detroit setup, okay? So those are and the only part of the operations are being automated at this point. And the majority, and this video, so I don't think I want to have time to show it, but basically there's a comparison between 80 years ago, when in Chaplin's movie, you want to play? Okay. So this one basically says workers today, or 80 years ago, are treated like animals. Okay, they are just slaves in the factory.
Attention foreman, trouble on bench 5. Check on the nut tightness. Nuts coming through loose on bench 5. Attention foreman.
So that is the physical system, okay, in 80 years ago. And you take a look at today, 80 years later, despite advances in all the technology, okay, in Foxconn, which employ 1.6 million workers.
Demand has raised uncomfortable questions about how these precious objects are made and how the people that make them are treated. A few weeks ago, the company invited me to witness its first ever third-party audit of its biggest Chinese supplier, Foxconn. They're working on top secret projects for Intel, Nintendo, Dell, and many others. How many steps are there?
Around 141.
141 steps. Yeah. But it is time now.
So each line has more than 100 operations, and the 140 workers work for 10 hours each day. Okay,
my name is Bill. Nice to meet you. I'm first struck by how young they are. Not 13 like some of the horror stories I'd heard, but 17, 18. No one looked over 30. I know many came from poor villages out in the countryside with the hope of making $2 an hour, but their haircuts prove that teen style lives everywhere. I was expecting more automated assembly, more robots.
So you can see it's just lines of workers
and change the lives of people 8 to 80 are mostly made by hand.
Okay. So, this is what it looks like today. Hundreds of workers, hundreds of lines, and it will not happen overnight to fully automate it. Okay, I think the strategy is, stepwise. Some of the critical tasks will be replaced by robot modules. Okay, cells. Okay, and then gradually, we built up the cells and the modules to have automated production. And in order to address those issues, all the problems that we learn in classes and in the research will be utilized. Okay, so this is a short list of those issues and how to address them. And right now we are looking at the inspection of glasses. Okay, 1/3 of all those workers are used to just inspect the defect of the glasses. And another example is the DJI example, and I should not go back, to the very earlier, but we can see that in the product design, we utilize the geometry of SE3 trajectory generation, differential flatness, okay, to generate optimal trajectory for drones to fly by, slam, follow me features, and all those. So I like to say, a few words, how do we utilize those geometry and in the product design and also in scaling up of DJI. And of course, when, Frank Wang proposed me, he wants to do a final year project in autopilot of drones. I said, I can recall 3 names, and you should look at their references. And because, I know them pretty well, so I know their algorithm should not be, should be working, okay. So the first one is Takel, candidate from CMU. And the second, I say, I know that Shankar has a big group working on this, and you look at those papers, and so you will see that, lots of your algorithm gets cited. Even though Frank was not, a Berkeley student, he tried to apply and was rejected. So, and also VJ. And of course, another element in here is I happen to teach a robotics design project course, okay? And, every day, today we are talking about, in the Jacobs Innovation Institute project-based design. This is my own experience for a robot design course. And the students work together as a team. They learn everything. And also there we are so close to Shenzhen. So the students, I ask them to go to Shenzhen, buy PCBs, buy components, making all those. So instead of 3 or 4 weeks, they can do 1 iteration of their design in 1 or 2 days. Okay, so that gives them a competitive advantage and also understand the ecosystem in China. Okay, where majority of the products are made, and those are some of the snapshots. He took the project design course twice, his final year project, and also the very shaky autopilot system. And then in 2006, he set up a company in Shenzhen, hoped to sell a few autopilots to make up for his tuition. So, and then finally, every time I will give him a challenge. He said, he was able to do that. I like to go to the mountains. I said that I want to climb Mount Everest. And can you get your drone to deliver a bottle of oxygen to me if needed? And they also, take pictures of the beautiful glaciers, which is impossible for human to look at. So then, we went to Mount Everest, and I saw him. He could, quickly assemble the whole thing and be able to fly. So I said, I don't have to give you a test. You can pass. Okay. So this is every time, we have a new product, we will go to mountains in Himalaya and they try to test. And, I said the ultimate challenge is to be able to land a drone autonomously on top of Mount Everest, which may take a couple of years of time, but we are still working on. And these are some of the recent pictures, 2010 and 2014, and the beautiful glaciers which you never been able to see. And this is the first useful mission. What happened, I think, 2010 or sometime, he disappeared for 2 weeks and come back. And I said, what did you do? He said, he went to the Sichuan earthquake. And the first time used the drones to, take pictures of the damaged building. And that helped, all the rescue operations. And today now is a common practice to use drones. And then sometime later, we released the first ready-to-fly system. Okay, and that is a big impact in the industry. And I'd like to show you a video of the recent
Creativity is at the heart of every dream. But once the idea is born, you must race against time to bring it to life. DJI introduces the next evolution in speed and intelligence, the Phantom 4. With elegant design dedicated to performance and precision, the Phantom 4 allows you to focus on being as creative as your heart desires. The Phantom 4 combines beautiful design with speed and power, making it the world's most advanced quadcopter. A powerfully integrated sensory network is at the heart of the Phantom 4. Artificial intelligence commands an advanced obstacle avoidance system with front-facing cameras that detect obstacles up to 50 feet away. This innovation takes the fear out of flying. Soar at the speed of imagination.
Okay, so that was a promotion, and actually it was recently elected by Times Magazine reporter as one of the 50 electronic gadgets ever developed over the last 50 years. And yeah, those are some of the other products under the gimbal technology, which I will not spend time to, under the communication technology, and these are the present family, and the media, and all those recognition. And I'd like to say a few words on the applications, of the technology, not just in addition to consumers and taking beautiful aerial video. And of course, the first is photography, cinematography, and used in all medias. And the inspection of the telecom towers. Okay, last time I was here, one guy said every year 300 people die, by climbing the operators to measure and fix those telecom. 5 minutes, okay, sure. And they also 3D reconstruction. And I will not. Actually, I should just one video and quick. So this has something to do with
filmmakers create dreams.
So
filmmaking
now
is
operating a drone is becoming
As
easy.
filmmakers,
But
our
if you do
challenge is
something
to
like
bring our
the
dreams to
director
life,
of Hollywood,
no
making
how
beautiful
crazy or
shots
inconceivable
of
these
buildings
dreams
is still difficult.
Sometimes
so this one,
we can get distracted from our
this
vision
is a director from Hollywood,
mundane
and how we
tasks
design, a
associated
company
which
in
create
Palo Alto,
obstacles in the filmmaking
making
process.
that,
The logistics
much
of
easier
filmmaking
job
can be
to do.
overwhelming. It can hinder our most genuine and sincere efforts. But now, the rules have changed. Filmmakers now have access to a tool that can facilitate
So
the
you
achievement
first fly the drones
powerful
to
vision.
collect all the information, 3D reconstruct the model of the cities, and then you can click the
pre-plan the
scenes,
camera movements
and
just
then the
by
drone
touching
will
the
fly according to the collected
Don't like
scene.
the shot? Grab and move the frame. Preview the shots before you get to your location. Our sophisticated drone will get the shot exactly as you want, simplifying everything. The creation, your vision, takes a front seat.
Okay, so I think I will skip over because in the old days, a director has to spend numerous trials to make one good shot of those kind of scenes, and now all can be done using virtual reality and the 3D models in one single shot. Okay. And there are still many other applications, and I will not go through it. Inspection of all the infrastructure, firefighting. There was an accident in Los Angeles. Nobody was able to see where are the fire, and a fans of DJI happened to have it there, and he used his drone to help the firefighter to save lives. And then the inspection of all those things. And another area that's emerging to be extremely important is precision agriculture using drones. You got attaching infrared, near-infrared thermal camera. You can monitor the growth of all the crops, all those pesticide conditions. And then you fly drones precisely on the spot. Because in China, each year we have 30,000 farmers die from the yield, sprayed chemicals, pesticides. And I think, despite Claire wants to kick me out, I show you a video. So you will see how this
When
is
DJI
going to become
launched the
farming
Phantom,
become
we
digital.
changed the
Okay,
world.
this is another cyber digital.
With every generation
system.
since, we've made flying easier, more reliable, and smarter. Now, we are bringing this expertise to the world of agriculture with the DJI Agris MG1, the first agricultural aerial platform designed for ultimate effectiveness, industry-level reliability, and precision spraying. One single Agris MG1 can carry 10 kilograms of fluid and cover 10,000 square meters on a single charge, 40 to 60 times faster than manual spraying. The Agris MG1 is dust-proof and corrosion-proof. It's also water-resistant, so at the end of a spray, it can be rinsed clean. Its extreme reliability is possible through a specially designed internal cooling system. Air enters from the front, and mist, dust, and large particles are filtered out before reaching the motors, where heat is then dissipated into the surrounding air. Industry-standard ceramic nozzles come pre-installed and can be swapped out if necessary. Spray quality is further enhanced with a downward-facing radar that keeps the Agris MG1 at exactly the right height above the crops. Using the Agris MG1, modern farms can spray faster, more accurately, and more efficiently, bringing the DJI-powered aerial revolution to agriculture.
Okay, so I think I quickly wrap up. On the thermal system delivery, this is a very famous scene of a Chinese actress proposing marriage to his fiancée. Okay, okay. So I think a brief summary: project-based learning, and the multidisciplinary teamwork, fast iteration from design to rapid prototyping, faster scale up. Just the principle of Jacobs Institute, integrating art, culture, science with engineering. Okay, so ecosystem development, I will not say too much. This is where we are. I think people call the places the Hollywood of makers. Okay, the speed which you can turn an idea into a product is probably 10 times faster than any places. So we believe this is extremely valuable asset to have for any students. So we decided to build a robotic incubation facility, not just for our own students, but for all students from elsewhere. And the next summer, we're going to run a boot camp with the Robotics Automation Society so that students, they can come there for 1 week, okay, to use this facility. And we formed the institute, okay, as an umbrella organization. And also we see that microelectronics has driven several major applications, killer applications: computer, internet, mobile, right? Smartphones. What is the next? The answer is robotics. Okay, and it is difficult for us to do it alone. So I thought that we needed to have a partner to work with us. Then talked to Shankar, and Shankar was extremely supportive with around a dozen faculty. We established a HKUST Berkeley Research Alliance program in the area of robotics, intelligent machines, and also microelectronics. And the hope is that students from both places, they exchange, they know, because Silicon Valley, or they know the Chinese industry, and they work as a team, and they to rapidly iterate their design until they have be able to do startups. So that is the whole ecosystem that we also have a few other ongoing projects. We're building an international school and hope to use the project-based learning from K to 12. And also robotic schools also using the same philosophy, and also a couple other projects. So to conclusion, this I think I don't have to say anymore. So what I like to say is thank you, Shankar, and also all the fellow students and the faculty.